This person asked the question, has their floor press and regular flat bench pretty close to each other? He's asking why that happens and what it can mean. Really, it's not all that odd to have your floor press and your flat bench be close to each other. For instance, mine 355 floor press and 375 raw bench at a meet. So it's not that far off. But one thing you could look at for what that's telling you about your regular bench is that maybe you're not getting as much out of your leg drive or your setup as you might be possibly getting. So make sure your setup's really good. You know, you can watch our previous Q&As on how to set up for bench, and you know, you can maybe find something in there. You know, pinning your shoulders back more, getting better setup for your feet so you can get more leg drive, where you get a little bit more on your flat bench, increase that gap a little bit. Okay, this question is about whether you can work body parts on different days, or specifically whether you can add more lat work to your training cycle. Yeah, that's fine. As long as you're recovering correctly and you moderate your intensities and volumes to make sure that you can continue to recover from each workout. Adding extra back work, you know, especially lat work and upper back work, is never a bad thing. You just have to make sure that you can keep everything moderate so that the extra workouts are helping you rather than hurting you. So that sounds like a great.
This question is about how long did it take you to get a 1,000 pound total. My first meet was a 1289 total, and I trained for about a year before I did that meet. It was a year after I started squatting and deadlifting before I did the meet.
My first 1,000 pound total, I actually didn't deadlift in high school much. So I got 1,000 pounds with squat, bench, and clean. My senior year of high school, that would be 3 years of training. If I went with squat, bench, and deadlift, it would probably be about a year after I started, maybe a year and a half. It took a while to get my clean up because I didn't have a coach.
Alright, this question is about when should you do your first meet. I think you should do your first meet as soon as you can. The main reason why is it'll get you out there and used to compete. Also, it'll expose you to a lot of different lifters. You might find people you can train with at the meet, especially if you find a meet close to where you live. That's a huge advantage. It's really hard to do it yourself, training alone. You don't see very many successful powerlifters doing that. Most of them train with other powerlifters. And it's great also to get yourself in an environment with people who are stronger than you, because it's going to change your perception about what's strong. You know, you go in a commercial gym, you bench 2 plates, everyone's like, ooh. You know, you go in a powerlifting gym, you bench 2 plates, everyone's like, whatever. So it's great to get into that environment because it will change your perception about what's strong and what's possible. So I think, you know, the sooner you get out there and compete, and the sooner you meet up with other powerlifters, the better off you'll be. This question is about how long is each training session. I would say on average, anywhere from like an hour and 15 minutes to 2 hours, not counting like sled dragging or any GPP work at the end of it. The big factors in that is DE work tends to be quicker, especially if you have a smaller group. Sometimes DE work drags if you get like 5 or 6 people in your group, so try to keep it to 4 people or less and keep the pace moving. ME work is one of those things that when you start out, I remember my ME workouts used to be really quick. Now they're longer and longer because I'm working up to heavier weight, so it just takes more sets to work up to get there. So that's one thing, as you get stronger, your workouts do take a little bit longer. But we try to shoot for like hour and 15 minutes to 2 hours.